I learned that from a Western perspective, you think that Western music kind of is all there is, when in reality, when you start looking at it and you think that you actually know music, you really don't, because there's this entire other world. You know, you can listen to the most underground stuff and the most indie of all things in the West, and it still won't compare to the plethora of information that you'll find music-wise for any other culture, especially the Middle East being so culturally driven. I finally settled on the Egyptian oud, not, you know, just because in this class we focused more on Egyptian culture and Arabic culture in general, but I liked the sound better. It was a lot deeper and sound, and every oud that comes from the certain parts of the Middle East and basically the Islamic culture has their different variations of sound, and it's very apparent in their music and the way that they play and what is played and the emotion and the message conveyed in the songs that they play. The one thing that I've learned mainly about Middle Eastern music is that it's a lot more hands-on than Western music, in the sense that when it's played alone, if I were to play oud alone, you wouldn't necessarily know what song it was unless you were very devout to that song or you were devout to this. It really takes a league of people to make what Middle Eastern music is. It takes, like the expression, it takes a village to raise a child. It really takes a band to raise Middle Eastern music, and it's a very communal thing, and it's very community-driven in that sense. I have been actually teaching some of my friends some of the scales that are very common in Middle Eastern music, and we've been learning songs of that nature, and surprisingly, you know, a few people have actually liked it because they just like things that are different, because around here in Tennessee, not many things are different from one another. It's usually people just copying other people. And so we're actually kind of bringing something new and fresh to the musical community around here with the Middle Eastern outreach.
أنا ممكن كمان يعني I can help you for this music to send for you the best oud music in Egypt and all over the Middle East. يعني I can do that.
I've actually, I've watched a lot of things that Miss Sabah has sent me via Edmodo, and I really like them all. And regardless if they're funny songs or they're serious songs, there's still that Middle Eastern vibe to it and that Middle Eastern essence to it, and they're worth learning. And they teach you a little bit every time that you kind of listen to it, because with the musical aspect of it, since I'm listening to it from a Western ear and trying to understand it in a Middle Eastern mentality, I see something new that I didn't know before about that type of music.
John, I'm very happy to see you. أنا سعيدة مسرورة جدا يعني لأنك سوف تعزف.
Man, that's the hardest part. I don't know. This, you know.
جميل جدا جميل يعني.
I don't know how it sounds on the other side. It's different. It takes some getting used to, because at first, well, first off, it's not fretted, So you don't know for certain what note you're playing, really. It changes every time you tune it. And like I said, it doesn't really stay in tune. And that's why when I was doing research about how they play it in ensembles and everything and how they play it in orchestral pieces, that it's really just this strenuous process that for years and years they will train their ears to playing with one another, because that you have to learn the nature of the instrument so you can really make it speak to an extent. And I mean, that's the oud, really. And I enjoy it, and I hope to keep playing it and, you know, get better and maybe do some Western songs with it even. And I think people would actually appreciate that. It's, I guess, a special experience when you go from playing a Western instrument to a Middle Eastern instrument and realizing how different but yet similar they are. And it's a completely different culture. It's completely different, yet also very much the same. It's one of those things that you have to be a musician to kind of get, but when you listen to them speak about it, you definitely get the inspiration, the admiration that they have for the instruments that they're playing. And it's just everything about it, and I will give the Middle East this versus the West, that everything about their music is much more art-filled. Even from the creation of their instruments, it's, you know, like saying, I mean, I don't know if the fact is very true, but it's definitely plausible and highly listed up there. The ouds aren't really made in factories. I'm sure there are some factory-made ouds, but usually it's made by a craftsman, and it takes, you know, years to perfect. And usually, I saw a guy from the Gulf. He was talking about his experience making an oud, and he said that an oud maker, their first oud that they make is always their most special oud. Even if it's the worst oud that they make or the best oud that they make, it is always the most special because it started their craftsmanship. It started not only their art, but somebody else's art, and it helps someone else. So all in all, it's a very art-filled world. The music that I'm playing, or the music for anybody for that matter, that is different in that essence, that opens a door to so many possibilities, because I believe that if there was a focus on the musical aspect of it, that Arabic, learning the language, could come from it, because a lot of things aren't translated, a lot of things aren't transposed from the Middle East to English or any Western language for that matter. A lot of the folk songs that I've been finding on YouTube and just on obscure websites, it really takes a feat of magic or luck or whatever you will call it to really listen to it and try to translate what you're hearing onto oud and translate the music onto it, and hoping that you're right. And with that, learning a little bit about the culture. And you start to realize when you start hearing, say, music from Egypt, folk music from Egypt, you start realizing, well, this certain type of music all shares a characteristic. Therefore, it must be that culture's influence on this folk music. And it changes from country to country in the Middle East. And it's a plethora of never-ending ideas, and you're constantly digging. I listened to a man on YouTube do an oud cover of Adele's Hello. And then from that, seen that? You need to, Mr. Henson. When you look on his page, he says he has a song that he wrote called My Travels Through the Middle East, and he takes every single type of music, folk music, popular music from the Middle East, and crams it all into one song, and layers it so beautifully that it runs from piece to piece to piece to piece, and he names what type of music he's playing. And out of all of them, you know, it's just Sometimes he had to change ouds to do it. Sometimes he had to change the backing music. It's just, like I said, it's such a plethora. It's like a never-ending net of being that you are seeing with this, type of music. Sometimes I get Kulthum songs stuck in my head, but I really don't know what she's saying or I'm saying at all. And it's no, 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 no. Let's not.
I can help you in this. I can help you in that. I
No,
can
no.
give you idea about the what in general she's talking about, what she's meaning.
I wasn't expecting that. No.
But I want to tell you something. You must hear my opinion for what you did now. It's very important. It's very important now to hear my opinion for what you did now. Okay. It's very important because I know the original music and I hear your music now. You know what happened? I was shocked. I was very surprised about I see you now. يعني you are very very fantastic. Yeah, you very very good. Very good. I will never explain for you what good you are. And you don't know what future you will have if you try to do what you did now in Egypt. Especially in Egypt.
With Fatma, I showed her the oud, and she was like, "You play that?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Only old people play that." I mean, I just told her it's a lot like guitar, and if you can play guitar, you can definitely learn oud. It's just, and with my guitar playing experience, I was always thinking, hey, I wonder if I can go over and transpose this to oud. And sure enough, I could. And plus, it's really not that hard. It becomes second nature once you start getting around to it.
This is very, very good. You make me feel the music also. فعلا you feel you play it with your heart كده you make me feel it, you make me love it, you make me want to hear you all the time but you need to learn more
yeah
what tone you must choose but you do it very well. If you learn more you will be fantastic.
It's just it's a process, and I'm never gonna let it down, and I'm never gonna just stop.
I hope you enjoyed learning all about the oud and its differences between oud music and Western music and just Arabic music and Western music in general. I certainly learned a lot. That was John when he was a senior in high school. We filmed this quite a while ago. He's gone off to college now. So I don't know if he's continued with his oud playing or not, but I will try and get you an update if anybody asks me for one. So let me know if you'd like me to follow up with John and can convince him to do a Skype interview / playing session, and everybody can see how his playing is nowadays. I bet it's improved. It's been quite a while. He was very, very excited about that. We would spend a lot more time practicing it than he did Arabic language. And it should be really interesting to see where he's at. I certainly learned a lot from this video. I hope you did too.